it, I've got a Flickr that shows like me at the manufacturing centers, people we partnered up with, me out in the field, with raw materials in the field. So you can always go there. Also going on like my Instagram and looking at my highlights. Sometimes I'll do a highlight of a certain product. You gotta watch that, you know what I mean? YouTube's got some good stuff as well. But the bottom line is I try to source for wild genomes. And so if we're gonna have another one of these kind of talks, philosophical talks a little, and kind of like, oh shit. So the reason why I source the way I source, and I'll explain how I source, is because when I first found out about this like superfood, super herb kind of world, I went out and started taking, so the first one I found out was cacao. Okay, let me just go back. I saw a speck of cacao under Kirlian photography. Do y'all know what Kirlian imagery is or anything like that? You know what it is? Do you know what it is? So it's a technology we stole from Russia, our CIA stole from Russia, and basically it shows energy fields. Okay, so I can put a lens in front of a camera and I can see what my eye can't see. Because you guys realize we can't really...
You can see like auras with people's auras.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you guys realize that we can't see shit with like in the light spectrum. Like it's very small.
Yeah.
It's like, here we are, you know what I mean? But as you kind of wake up and you become more aware, you can actually see things too, which is really cool. But Kirlian field shows energy potential. So say I had someone walk in here and all they ate was McDonald's. There was the guy that ate McDonald's for 30 days and almost died, right? That guy. Say he comes in after 30 days, right? He was about to die. If we were to put the Kirlian field lens and take a picture of him, there wouldn't be a lot of vibrancy there, right? Like he's going back to the ground, right? He's almost dying, right? He's not alive at all. He's dying, he's decaying, he's degenerating, right? But then, say I walk in, no, I'm just
yeah.
Say like someone walks in, like just the most super healthy person in the world. They eat tons of superfoods, super herbs. They're raw, eating lots of raw food. They come in, they like kick the door down, boom, you know, and it's just like, and they're all smiling all big, and they're all coming in here like, what's wrong with that guy? If you were to put that same fit lens and take a picture of him, his energy is obviously higher, right? He's not decaying. So you could actually see that energy, like sparks of electricity.
That's cool.
And this is kind of like where when you start talking about people putting their hands on you and like healers, you gotta be real careful who you work with. Because if you got some healer walk in, he's walking in like, he can barely heal himself. But, you know, he's on his way out, you know. But if someone comes in, you can feel their energy, you can feel their presence, you know. And then they put their hands on you with intention, like that's power. Well, the same thing goes for food, okay? Exact same thing. So if I took, and by the way, when you microwave food, no matter what it is, you completely destroy the field, completely. Like if you microwave anything. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because that's what blew me away when I saw the experiment. I was like, get the microwave, throw it outside. You know? Because for me, when I first saw that, I was like, holy shit, I've been eating a bunch of cooked, dead food. No wonder I feel cooked and dead. You know what I mean? Like, no wonder I don't feel alive and vibrant, right? Like that Sazandra berry is freeze-dried. It's never been heated at all. It's just been frozen and then water pulled out. So it's got that potential. It's got the Kirlian field. So that's what kind of started my sourcing. It's like I had to get things fresh. I had to get things alive, living, if I can. Another part of that, because I'm kind of skipping around here because no one's got time for my whole story because I talk too much. But the way I kind of shortcome the sourcing of like wild genetics is because I saw a piece of chocolate in this field, and I was blown away because it was like a tiny speck of cacao, and it was raw chocolate, it was raw, radiated. So I was like, I need to eat raw chocolate because I love chocolate. I was like the dude who had the bags of Reese's and Snickers, you know what I mean?
Oh man,
the sour candy stuff, like, I like chocolate, you know. And so I saw that, and then I went and started buying raw chocolate. Started looking on the internet, and I got it in, and it fucked me up. Like, it was making me like shake, and I was like kind of like, whoa, like what's going on? But I was like real shaky. And so what I found out was that chocolate and how it's processed and how it's manufactured is very similar to coffee. You know how people get shakes from coffee? And this whole thing is what's created this whole idea that cacao has caffeine in it, and it doesn't. What the similarities and why that was happening to me was mold, mycotoxins. We're talking about food here. So the sourcing is even more important because we're getting the raw material from Mother Nature. And when you do that, Mother Nature wants to break it back down. But imagine if you took Mother Nature and you tried to big agriculture it, monocrop it, and rows. Well, chocolate's $1 billion industry, right? You don't think Hershey's got their hand in these cocoa fields, right? Hell yeah, all over the world they do, right? And so what I was buying was organic raw, and this was 13 years ago when it was first even available on the market. Like before then, raw, no one wanted it. It's so bitter, it tastes terrible, right? And a part of that was because of the quality that was out on the market. Now I think the stuff we get now, I don't think it tastes terrible at all. I think it tastes great because I remember that stuff, and that stuff was less like. But bottom line is how it's processed, how they grow it. Almost all cacao, 90% of cacao, not 95, is cultivated. So it's like farmed. And what they do is they've hybridized the genetics. So the trees they're not trees, they're like small bushes. Because cacao naturally wants to get big, it naturally wants all the sun, but what they've done is they've grown it in the canopy of the jungle, which basically means they've grown it under a big shade cloth, right? Because you've got the big trees up here, and they're growing cacao down in here, right? So it's not getting sun, right? They've hybridized the genetics, so they've made the plant that was big, now they've made it small, and that's because most people in South America, in this region where almost all the beneficial cacao comes from, they're short, they're not real tall, and so I think that it's kind of a cool thing, I'm not going to deny that that's cool that we figured out how to do stuff like that, but it definitely screwed up the genetics in that they're less susceptible to disease. So mold, mycotoxins, you're already in the jungle, okay, it's already high humidity, and then you put a canopy over it, and now you're growing this chocolate. So our chocolate, we get up in volcanic regions, mountainous regions. And you can go to the Flickr, you can see all this. And there's like 350-foot cacao trees, open right on the sun, up on a big, like almost 2,000 to 3,000 feet elevation. Some are 7,000 feet elevation, some are way up there, some are low. The bottom line, there's these small pocket parcels, we call them. Well, we'll just have this pristine ecosystem for cacao, and it just grows. This is what, when you research cacao, and you see all the nutrients inside of it, what it can all do for you, that's what it's based off of, is those wild varieties, okay? So I'm kind of going around in a circle here, but when I first started getting about that research, saw the chromatography, then I researched cacao, saw that it was the #1 source of magnesium, iron, chromium in the world of any food, right? I saw the 3 leading deficiencies in America, magnesium, iron, chromium. I was like, holy shit, everyone needs cacao, right? 10 times more vitamin C than oranges in raw chocolate. So you're better off eating a chocolate bar than you are juicing an orange. Not to not do that, because you can only eat so much chocolate. And oranges are still good. I still love oranges. Nothing against the orange plant spirit or whatever. But bottom line is, wow, loaded with all this stuff. 7 different phenethylamines. What are phenethylamines? They're like endorphin chemicals, if you will. Like phenethylamines are found active in your brain when you're in love. So naturally, chocolate's associated with the heart, right? It's the #1 source of magnesium. The heart uses more magnesium than any other organ in the body. Chocolate's the #1 food source of it. The best chocolate in the world grows at the center of the earth, kind of like where the heart would be. It's kind of interesting, right? The phenethylamines also found in, there's 7 different ones. One's only found active when you're in love. That's one phenethylamine. There's ones for focus, concentration, retention. These are all active when you eat cacao. However, when you're super passionate and you're in love with something and you really like it, you activate that naturally. That's pretty cool, right?
Wow.
So you can turn that on. You want to talk about a smart drug, you want to talk about a nootropic. That's the best fucking neurotropic in the world right there, right? I mean, because it's really mimicking the state that you would naturally put yourself in, which is the best state to be in if you're trying to learn something new. But how many times do we have to learn stuff that we don't like? Oh my God, I'm just so excited to learn this today. You know what I mean? And if you have low energy and you don't feel well and you're sick and you're coming in here and you're all messed up, then you can't even activate that even if you wanted to.
Yep.
Right? So you see how they've stripped our power from us, right? Because we should be able to activate that naturally. There's another one though that's not found that we can produce, but not. It's an cannabinoid like THC or CBD. It's called anandamide. It's a bliss cannabinoid endorphin. So we don't produce this one naturally like the phenethylamines, But when we have all 7 of those firing, it almost feels like it. But anandamide, it makes you kind of go in this euphoric state, and it actually shuts off the appetite receptor. Well, this is in chocolate. So the reason why all that is important is because if you don't feel well, right, then how can you heal? Yeah. So chocolate was kind of this pathway to help people heal. It's giving people the minerals that they really need. Also, it's a vasodilator. What does that mean? It opens up the body. So it's great to put herbs behind it. And this is in breakfast is a 5,000-year-old shamanic-based formula from and probably older, probably like 10,000 years, because they don't write anything down. The shamans in South America, it's all, you have to go down there and just talk to them, and they tell you stories, and I'm like, well, how old is all this? They're like, we don't write anything down, we never have, like, it's still different.
Can you talk about in breakfast a little bit more?
Yeah.
Like what's in it and why?
So in recap, so all of his stuff is really wild sourced. He'll call them and talk to manufacturers, seeing like if they meet his criteria, and if they do, he goes and flies out and actually sees it.
Yeah, and with our chocolate, we are the manufacturer of the raw materials. So I have a partner that lives in South America, and I've teamed up with him. And like we had to set up our own manufacturing for our cacao because those same people that were growing it that I mentioned, and the hybridization, and that's like everything from the Tivas and all the organic cacao you see on the market. They have their own manufacturing centers as well in Guayaquil, and that's where the port is. And it's all like stainless steel and brass fittings, and they all leach like lead, cadmium, arsenic. So we actually had to set up our own manufacturing for cacao, and then we can process some of our other superfoods in that situation. But I do what Holly just said with some of my other stuff because we have so many products. So I'm not able to get hands-on like that with everything. But the majority of everything I am hands-on like that. And then I take that knowledge that I've acquired and just apply it. Because it's all about asking questions. That's what I told you I want to do an inquiry. Like, you ask questions, because that's what's got me where I am. If you go to what kind of water do you use when your wash station, right? If they don't give you a response in a week, it's because they don't want you to know. You know what I mean? Oh, it comes straight from the tap. Oh, where are you at? The Pearl River in China. Some white dude, Pearl River. But you go look it up, it's the most polluted river in China. That's where the fucking water's coming from. Excuse my F-bombs, but I'm just like, because tens of thousands of dollars has went down out of my pocket down the drain. Because I'm like, dude, I'm not eating this, and I'm sure as hell not going to sell it. Because for me, it was all about, I had to heal myself first, right? So I brought this product on for me, not to be self-centered, but that's just what I learned. When you're in the airplane, the mask comes down, you put it on you first, right? You don't put it on your child first. Put it on you first, so you can help your child, right? And that's the same model we should all take. Especially if we're going to be leaders in health and wellness.
Amen.
So that's kind of the sourcing. Wild genetics, that's actually what the research indicates is wild genomes, not the hybridized variety. So when I researched cacao and I saw everything, I just told you what was in it, and that was just a piece of what's actually in it. And I went and took it, I didn't get the result that I was reading. But when I went there and got the wild genetic and ate it, I was like, oh, this is different. No shakes. Like I feel amazing, and I've got this energy. And so I told you that all not to impress you, but to impress upon you the importance of sourcing wild genomes and also understanding that there are manufacturing processes that you need to know about. And so my whole deal is like inquiring on some of these, like, well, how, or what is this for? Why is this in this, and just start to kind of open that up, But going back to in breakfast, to basically in breakfast has, so crucial 4 means 4 missing food groups. So I found 4 of these missing types of foods that aren't even in an American diet. Herbs, superior herbs, algae like the spirulina, biotics, things like colostrum, elk antler, ants, pearls, because pearls like a little living organism, and medicinal mushrooms like reishi, shiitake, miyatake. And in breakfast has all of that inside of it. No ants or elk antler, but it has colostrum. And then we have it in a vegan form as well. But the idea was, how can we take the most nutrient-dense foods in the world that have super long recorded history and get them all together? Because when I got into this 13 years ago, I was spending like 30 minutes sometimes in the kitchen trying to make a damn shake. And And I was like, and that was my fuel. Like, that's all I had today. And I'm not hungry, right? And I should have not had so much so I could eat my lunch. Lunch will be eaten, and thank you so much for it. But I make big ones, you know. But in breakfast, I tell people, no, you're gonna do 2 or 3 tablespoons. You're gonna make a little 16-ounce shake. You're gonna start there, you know, because if you did a big one like me, like quarter cup. First off, it's kind of expensive, but not because it would be a breakfast and a lunch. But they're gonna detox. Like they're gonna be going through it, and if they're not have all their reins to them, then you know they're gonna just bitch, you know. So the key is to give, because it doesn't matter really necessarily what's in the herbs or what's in all the stuff in your breakfast that could be potentially detoxing that you need to worry about. The key to understand is mineralization. It's just minerals. Giving people the minerals they need, their body naturally detox. We're all detoxing right now. We all got cancer in us right now. We all got parasites. We all got candida. All of us. No one's getting away from this. So there's no reason to stress. It's all going to be okay, right? No big deal. But when we start getting these minerals in our body, the body starts fixing itself because that's what it wants to do, right? We're children of God, right? Children of John. So that can cause detox if you're drinking a big mega glove of it like I was for years, you know? And I still like to do that sometimes. Now I don't detox. Now it just fuels me and lets me go. But I'm just saying, just getting people started on this. You might want to just kind of like keep it small. Just try it. And breakfast can be used in oats. It can be used in granola. They can bake it. Yeah, it kind of messes with it a little bit. But hey, the herbs don't work unless you take them. So however they're willing to take them. Like the apple cider vinegar analogy. Just do a drop on your tongue, right? If you can't do a full shot, right? So also there's ways to make it too, to make it taste different. You know, obviously putting it in water and shaking it up is the worst way to take it, but it's doable, you know. We talk about flavors. And breakfast has the astringents and salties and bitters, but you tasted it. It's delicious. You know, it's good. So I made it to where, you know, even though I press upon you all that crap about, the balancing and the palate, that's a big step to overcome for people, and even for ourselves. You know what I mean? So in breakfast doesn't really fall in that category that you have to worry about. Like, you have to worry about people being like, but if they are, then you know they got major gut rot because it's good, you know?
It's like a chocolatey. It tastes really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild chocolate. So here's the deal. When food has all the minerals in the soil and it's wild, it tastes really good. Like, I can eat my cacao beans and I can give them to people, and most people will be like, that's not bad, I can have that. But if I was to go get like some like hybridized variety beans that have white mold on them, I mean, it's like a baker's chocolate, you know? It's just like holy bleh. Like, no one wants to eat that, you know?
Yep.
So there's something to be said about the sourcing, right? And then breakfast is a great place to start. It's been our flagship product, so I would expect it to be the same for you guys. You know, it's a way for them to get all what Crucial 4 offers in a quick, convenient little...
But would you say that would be like the multivitamin, or would you say that with spirulina would be perfect?
I say that, so, you know, most people will say yes.
Yeah.
But for me, doing it for 13 years, I think after like maybe their first bag, to really step it up. Because to me, the multivitamin idea is kind of a wash. To think that we can get everything we need that we're going to be missing in one setting.
Yeah.
I think that mentality has to be changed. I mean, we have to stop telling people to expect that as health professionals. Like, no, there's nothing out there, but if there was, yes. I mean, the question would be yes.
It's just a good starting point, foundation.
It's a phenomenal starting point. The best starting point you could ever have. But it's not going to fix them doing that and then going and eating Burger King. You know what I mean? But it gets them one step closer. But I wouldn't expect someone's major like rosacea to really completely, fully go away until they really started taking care of themselves in all areas.
Can you talk more about like skin health with like your pearl powder that we're gonna have?
So the pearl is an herb from the Orient that women would put on their face, and it actually helps produce stem cells.
And is this literally like crushed up pearls?
Yeah, this is like really pearl. These are like jewel grade pearls. Like what?
Wow.
So you steal them off of rich people, and then you
No, even before rich people die, we harvest them. And if you go on my Instagram and you go imbalance of pearl, you can see the canal we get. It's the most beautiful place in Taiwan ever. And we got a little drone shot of it. And so it's just like, wow, yeah, I would definitely eat some pearls out of that aqua blue water.
Wow.
And so the pearl powder has signal proteins inside of it to help signal collagen repair. And there's multiple forms of collagen, tendon ligament repair, calcium metabolism. It also can help make the skin fair. It helps increase IQ.
So it's like a
You're
brightener.
talking about like
If someone
brown
got
spots and
yeah,
stuff
like
that.
yeah, lipofuscin or whatever.
Yeah, how does that happen?
Well, too much iron, right? Supposedly. So, and there's other reasons why lipofuscin can happen. Polyunsaturated fats, supposedly, which I agree with that.
Which is, so polyunsaturated fats is omega-3s. So essentially taking too many omega-3s and too much iron and then being out in the sun is just the trifecta effect of causing brown spots.
Because we're overexposed to iron. Because we don't have enough magnesium. And so they kind of counterbalance each other. You can get your magnesium up, your body will deplete and pull out iron, but also copper. And copper is another one that makes the skin shine. Camu is a phenomenal source of copper. So as we go down these conversations like this, these herbs and these foods start to get brought back up in certain aspects that we didn't initially talk about, because that's the beauty of nature, right? It's the beauty of real vitamin C, right? And its counterparts, because you have to have signalers to make the vitamin C actually work, and a lot of that times it's a mineral like copper, which also offsets the issue with iron. The omega-3s and the polyunsaturated fats, the things to know is that we've got a couple forms of fat: polyunsaturated, monounsaturated, and saturated, right? And polyunsaturated is not stable. So heat and light, it breaks down and goes rancid. Well, our body is how hot inside?
97.6.
97.6 average. So that will make a rancid oil, that will make any polyunsaturated fat go rancid in your body. However, they're essential fatty acids, which means we have to have some. The key isn't to say we don't need omega-3s. That would be dogmatic and psychofanatic, and why I don't like that guy. Because it's like no one takes it, right? But no, it's just eat your fish. Just don't think you need to supplement a super concentrated amount of it, right? Like you don't need to just dose up on a ton of it.
Mm-hmm.
You still need it, but you don't need as much as you think you need. You know, the thing to watch out for more would be like when we go to restaurants and we eat fries. They're all fried in canola oil or peanut oil. I mean, that's saturated. Those are the bad ones, right? Because those are high in omega-6. Because the info is right. We need more omega-3 than omega-6. I'm sure you guys have gotten that download.
Yeah.
But at the same token, we don't need tons of these polyunsaturated fats in our diet, period. We need to focus more on saturated fats, monounsaturated fats when they're fresh.
So pretty much what the recommendation is going to turn to is from omega-3s, taking omega-3s, is go have some wild-caught salmon once a week. And if you can, get a thing of sardines, that you can take.
Yeah.
So.
How do you feel like the sardines though coming in aluminum foil packaging?
Well, you just do the best, yeah. I mean, I've seen them in aluminum. I've seen them in glass. There's a company out of Spain who actually has a really good. It's called Ortiz, O-R-T-I-Z, and they do like good mackerel and sardines, all in glass, all in olive oil.
Oh, nice.
So I would prefer it not be in olive oil, but that's better than everyone else's, which is canola oil and soy oil in a tin can. Yeah, because that's like the last thing you want, right? But it's still better than them taking the omega-3 supplement too, right?
It's crazy.
So, right. That's where I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So, it's such how bad it really is, right? And, and I've raised 2 children, and I've raised one on high amounts of omega-3s, and I've raised one on like none supplemented, and there's a freaking huge difference in the cognitive ability.
Really?
Night and day. Asher can already do all her colors. She can say her colors. She can sing like 6 or 7 songs. Her cognitive ability has trumped Cliff, hands down. Hands down.
Wow.
And I know a lot of it is because he's her big brother and she's getting that action that he never got. But it's so noticeable. Like in conversations with you, even though you can't really tell because half of it's gibberish. But Melinda stopped taking, because Melinda, we couldn't feed Cliff her breast milk after like 4 months. So we had to start making a formula. We went to Weston and Price Foundation. Raw milk, tons of fermented cod liver oil, the best on the market, just copious amounts of it. If they're sick, cod liver oil. So I was taking it. And I could have swore, I was like, I feel a little bit better from it, But then I started kind of feeling off after like a year or two on it. And I was kind of like, ugh. I'm like, why am I burping it up? I've been taking it for years. I shouldn't be burping it up. And it was my gallbladder saying, that's a rancid oil, bruh. Like, it's rancid, homie. Like, quit eating that. Melinda could never take it. She could never take it. So the only reason Cliff got it is because he got it in a bottle. So every time Melinda would take she would just like get puke. She'd get in like massive pain. And I'd never experienced that because I grew up just like everyone else. Take omega-3s for your brain. I also had ADD, so you need to take omega-3s. Really I just needed probiotics because I took too many antibiotics growing up, which is a whole other conversation. So yeah.
Perfect. So pearl powder, and then there's another one that is really expensive that we're gonna carry, and it's called your Elk Velvet.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more why it is the price it is and why it's so beneficial, and what kind of clientele would be specific that would need that?
Okay, so I'll start there. The clientele that need that the most is women that are like 40, 50, going through menopause, like major hormonal issues. And then guys who just want to like get, you got some pretty boy who walks in who's at the gym, like, it'd be good on Elk Antler. Elk Antler is a regenerative substance. The antler of a deer or an elk grows back every year, and it's an organ. So think about that. It starts stem cell production, growth factors, all the embryonic elements to grow life is in Elk Velvet. And it works as an adaptogen. It works strictly on not strictly, but directly on the hormones, endocrine system, but also the immune system, the cardiovascular system, the nervous system, but also like tendons, ligaments. Like I've had guys that, blow out an elbow from fighting or lifting weights. My mom was bone on bone on her knee. They were gonna have to she's like, I had to do surgery on bone. We did Pearl and Elk Velvet. And she's been no surgery 12 years. And we've got like a little small beach house in Florida that's always going up and down those stairs. And she'd be like, I can't do it anymore. She's whipping up and down just 2-3 months ago. She's down there right now, right? So, wow, right?
We almost brought on an HGH cream.
Yeah.
Because women were like, this is the most amazing thing. Yeah. And people feel a difference.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
This is a liquid tincture. And so what we do is we just clip the tips, because if you start going down the antler and harvest, those growth that, the embryonic stuff's not really there. It's all hardening up, right? So you got some cool protein matrix in there, but the growth factors, and there's I think there's 60 different types of growth factors in Elk Antler. It's either 60 or 50. Wow. It's a ton. So it's not just IGF-1, which is in there in a high amount, but IGF-2, there's also transferrin growth factor, fibroblast growth factor, epithelial growth factor for the skin, regenerate the freaking skin, right? So all these different forms to regenerate the body inside and out. So you can apply it topically. You could mix it in a cream. If you were gonna make a boho product, that would be an amazing product to make with. Yeah, like Pearl, Elk. I can make you the most expensive badass product. I mean, because when I found about ants and elk and some of this stuff, Melinda's mom would bring home these $600 creams, and I turn it over. It's cordyceps, pearl powder, Elk Antler, and it's a tiny amount, and then a bunch of just crappy, no offense to Asians, and my wife's not here, and she'll even amount to it, but they totally, they're shysters, because that's part of their culture, is all of them know about herbs and stuff. So, and it's the worst products ever, but with this amazing idea inside of it, because even the raw materials they use in that, it's not that good. But yeah.
And so just also to give you guys a little bit of idea on if there's, let's just say 50, you said 50 to 60 growth factors. When we do PRP and we extract blood, it's only about 11 growth factors. So you're getting 5 times more than that, than what we even can get out of your own system.
Right. And colostrum's the same way, and that's in breakfast. There's over 90 IGF growth factors,
Wow.
or insulin like growth factors in colostrum. Colostrum has the most.
Wow.
It's got the whole IG superfamily. Every like if you looked up all the IG superfamily, it's all in colostrum.
Wow.
That's cool.
So yeah.
So would it be okay for someone that's in their 20s or 30s to take?
I would say not so much unless they had like major hormone issues. Like I can't take it. Like you see how I am up here? Like it's making me even more. But now if I take it, I need to like literally go lift weights for like an hour, like till I'm dead, and then I calm back down because it just gets me like, So I'm 33.
They should call it Bull Antler.
Yeah, that's what I tell them. When I take it, I'm like this. Melinda. Which isn't good, I don't need that. And
like,
so,
not today's symptom.
right? Exactly. She calls me the predator sometimes. But she had like these, like volleyball shorts on, like, and she's got a nice butt on her, and like she was in my muck boots out digging a hole near the pyramid, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, she's like, what? She had like dirt on her face. I'm just like, yeah. I don't know, but too much of a good thing is too much, right? Like, it's too much.
Well, it'll tell you too much.
Yeah. So I would say, and only in special cases. Someone had an injury, and you just gotta also make sure with some of these very powerful herbs that you're balancing things with foundational stuff like magnesium. Like making sure people get magnesium is really important. I could speak for an hour on that, and I've got a talk I'm doing at the Addison Wellness Expo. I'm gonna film and everything. If you guys can't make it, but if you can make it, you should come because I'm gonna teach how to make the bicarbonate. I'm gonna teach everything about the pathway, why use this form over that form. And priceless. Magnesium governs over 3,000 different enzymatic functions in the body. So it's extremely important. Heart needs it more than any other mineral.
And breakfast has magnesium?
Well, it's got cacao, it's the number one food source. And spirulina, which is high amount. But we need tons of magnesium.
Mm-hmm.
Like the RDA we need on magnesium is nothing like, because there's a burn rate. And stress causes us to burn out more. And we're all stressed out.
I had read somewhere that magnesium and copper is the one reason why people have acne. Like they're really low in it. So like your products, y'all have just a copper magnesium kind of thing.
Right. So camu, cacao. We're going back to these products we're talking about, and then magnesium.
Perfect.
Which technically is in both of those foods.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to help people. Sometimes I've been doing it for so long, I'm thinking like, oh, well, they need this and they need that too, but they really don't. Like in breakfast would get someone feeling so much better.
Breakfast has what in it?
It's got the magnesium, it's got the copper. So the number one food source of magnesium is cacao.
Okay.
Okay. Now copper, I don't know. I don't tell you. I don't know what the number one food source of copper is. I can easily go look it up. But I know camu has a ton of it. I know copper has quite a bit of it. I know spirulina has both of those, magnesium and copper. When you start looking at all the ingredients in breakfast, hemp protein powder, pine pollen, they all have copper in some amounts, magnesium in some amounts. They all have these minerals. And so even though it's not off the charts like cacao, right, or the other number one food source for copper, they all have a little bit. So imagine having a ton of that.
Yeah.
And then imagine having it in a food form that your microbiota, your bacteria actually know. Because that's the other thing, is these fractionalized vitamins, even though they're charlatan, right, and we're not actually getting vitamin C, they're really hard for the body to absorb. And I guarantee you, if we all took any multivitamin, not just Metagenics, we would go pee bright orange yellow into the toilet, regardless of how it was extracted, if it came from nature or not. Because when you take that amount of concentrated anything in such a small form, your ability to digest it is hard. And that is why the multivitamin kind of thing is a scam idea. Not like the products, but just the idea of a multivitamin. It's kind of, I'm not going to say it doesn't help people, but you're not absorbing it all. And it'd be smarter if we took one of those tablets and broke it up in like 16 little pieces and just popped them throughout the day. That would actually be better, right? Because your digestion can only handle so much at once. That makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it totally makes sense because one of the biggest studies of multivitamins that I've seen was the only results that they got from a multivitamin. They were using like multivitamin, I'm going to say like Centrum, was it the only thing it did for the person that they noticed was it lowered their lifespan. And I was like, oh, so it kills us faster.
Yeah.
And I was like, and so in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, they were using Centrum, Metagenics is different, you know, and then I also see like other, like, there was this one a day that I see all the time at Walmart, and they have a huge class action lawsuit against them because there was an excessive amount of lead, arsenic, all these poisons in their multivitamins.
And that the beauty of saying the FDA, this statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Well, I had to put that on my stuff too, okay? But there's a lot of things not being regulated, and heavy metals is another one. And that has been my biggest, that's the main thing I look for is like heavy metals and stuff. Because food products have it, but these have it because the manufacturing, how it's made. If you knew how they extracted ascorbic acid from whatever they're extracting it from, you guys would barf. If you saw there'd be raw materials with hazardous stickers on them with like the skull and bones, like acetane, methane, and this is actually how most herbs are extracted too.
Wow.
So this is something else I learned. You know.
That's cool.
What time is it? How much more time do we have, Charles?
The clock's right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
2:21.
2:21.
You got go.
But what else? I can answer. I'll answer one more question.
guys have a
Really
question?
quick, back to like the scent factor, the elk antler. So you said like you can't really take it unless you're like older, because like you know that whatever. But like if it's like topical, is that okay to use at any age?
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
anything topical, like that you see anyone at any age going through something, even a child, it's going to be way safer than taking it internally.
Okay.
Is using it topically, and I always suggest just get a little cream and rub it in, or you could just drop like one drop, rub it in real good, and then hit some cream behind it or some magnesium. Because see, magnesium is a vasodilator, so it opens up, and then you put L behind it or in front of it. Either way, it works. Gets in there and opens things up. That's what you want.
Okay.
Yeah, and like when we talk about inflammation and stuff like that, all these foods help lower inflammation. I mean, if you guys researched any of the raw materials in breakfast, you would somewhere see anti-inflammatory. So I say it loosely because it's kind of like, you know, the real cause to inflammation is stress.
Mm.
And there ain't no product you can take that's going to lower your stress. You got to figure that shit out for yourself. Sorry, can't help you there. I can help you feel better, which helps lower stress. But in reality, in Chinese medicine, they don't even talk about nutrition until they're like, oh, do you meditate? Oh, do you take time to stay off your cell phone? And, you know, or you just go.
What are two good strategies that are the best strategies you found to lower stress?
Deep diaphragmatic breath. There's not a number two. That's the 1 and 2.
So are you saying like 3 times a day, focus on taking deep diaphragmatic breaths?
Yeah, 3 times a day would be great. I was going to say once a day.
Because I mean, if you just did that for 2 minutes.
Right. You can do a couple 5 minutes throughout the day.
5 minutes throughout the
I
day.
will grab a client's phone and I'll set it on their phone. Like reminder to go off.
It's on Apple.
Yeah, on your Apple Watch it shows like the breath.
It says breathe.
Breathe. Take a minute and
Yeah.
breathe. You know, like times you breathing.
Right. Yeah. That's so funny. We're so
Always skip
retarded. We have technology tell us that.
I
But
know.
hey, whatever gets us there. Whatever gets
Yeah,
us there. Whatever
exactly.
gets us there. Yeah.
So we're starting out with pearl in breakfast.
We're starting. We're getting
It's the
chocolate
same.
bars,
Yes.
which will probably be mostly mine.
Yeah, I know. Got 6 chocolate bars.
We have maca. We have the spirulina and M breakfast, which is like which is a great foundation. We have the camu, which has high amounts of vitamin C, but a lot of things. But high amounts of vitamin C.
Copper.
Yeah.
Nice.
We have we're gonna get Icelandic sea salt because it's great for hydration and it has like 40 different minerals in it. And that's ultimately Charles's whole thing. Is it's not about what we think vitamins, it's about the minerals. And vitamins is what he's telling me. Like, look at it's vitamin. It's a
type of mineral.
It's a type of mineral.
Cofactor that helps the mineral actually get metabolized.
So, then we're gonna have this magnesium spray that they can spray
Right.
on their skin, right?
Yes, that's a transdermal. That's a chloride, magnesium chloride. That's like what's in the ocean. So you went to the ocean, you went to the Dead Sea, and you floated in that thing. You'd be floating in magnesium chloride.
We're going to we will replaces our D3 with his D3. His D3 is like better than prescription D3. He's had like medical doctors that switch over because they notice a bigger difference.
Yeah, it's got the MK7. It's got K2 with it. Throw 270 servings.
Yeah, it lasts like 4 or 6 months.
Yeah,
You know?
I formulated it to megadose because I had an old baseball injury, and I read this book by Jeff T. Bowles called The Vitamin D Miracle, and he took over 100,000 IUs of vitamin D
My gosh.
with K2 for like a year, and it healed like all his. He had tried to heal himself from all these. He had all types of fucked up shit wrong with him. Like he was just like a mess, and vitamin D healed all of it. So like
Wow.
thousands of different healing genes uncode when you get the right amount of vitamin D3 with K2. You have to have K2 with it.
So then for the hormones, we have Sandra and then the Elk Antler. So the Elk Antler is like what? It retails that for like $175. But I think that
Yeah, you can
HGH
retail it for that. We retail, but yeah, that's
what
our retail's $150 on it.
150?
But if you guys want to sell it
Okay,
for that,
our retail's $250.
well, that's not your wholesale. That's not your wholesale.
No.
That's the retail.
No. I know.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
playing with you. I think when I was going through my order, I just saw like your MSRP. It might have been the old one, but it said 175.
Oh, okay.
Linda did say it went up to 175 today. She's already.
Oh, you know what? Don't listen to me. Yeah, she's.
Linda knows.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna talk to Melinda. on
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And then we have holy basil, which is really good for stress and testosterone.
And
Am I right?
thyroid.
And
yeah.
if you're noticing
Stress
people like
hormone. Yeah.
thyroid.
Thyroid issues. Yeah.
So, and I'm going to kind of create with his stuff. I'm going to create like procedures, protocols. Like if you notice this, these would be my 3 recommendations.
And I also didn't get to show you guys, but on this I created little sales sheets for each product.
Oh, awesome.
And it's like a picture of the bag, the name. It shows some of the raw materials so you can kind of familiarize yourself around it. And then I put like certain like icons, whether it's wild crafted, high elevation, like key selling points. And then I do crucial for difference description. It's a little description of it. I put what's in it, like the nutrition fact kind of panel there, how to take it, and also there's a key benefits, which is really what you're talking about. So you probably won't need to create it.
Okay, cool.
You
I'll
probably
go
need to
through
create
that. We might as well just like keep that. I'm thinking we'll probably just keep it on the iPad, so you can just pull it up and zoom in on different things.
Email him to it?
Yeah, we could do a lot of things with it. With the
Yeah,
digital.
yeah, it's a vector file, so you could print them out, make them look nice. You could keep them, just pass it around.
Yeah.
Little cheat sheets. It's basically the elevators for the products.
Okay.
And then we also have that pearl powder. I'm really excited to see how people do on that pearl powder.
Yeah, I want to try it.
Never,
Really bad.
never.
See,
heard of
I take the pearl because it calms me down. Like if there was one product that calmed me down, it was the pearl. It was always the pearl. I would just take it and just be chill. That and holy basil.
So would you say it helps with like anxiety and
Oh,
depression?
like a mother. And when you read about pearl, it's like, what? There's no way this does all this. Like it's that crazy. Increases IQ, like all this stuff, and you're just like, that's the story on it. It's one of the most powerful herbs in the Orient.
Wow.
And yeah, it's really good. It's a mineral. It goes back to minerals, and it's so interesting because that's really all the issue is. It's getting the minerals in the body, and that's why these superfoods and herbs are great. Because not only do they cover the minerals, but they have these specialty compounds like the anandamide, the phenethylamines. There's certain, in like Sazandra, there's alkaloids known as Sazandrasides. So they're alkaloids, right? So that's why there's crucial 4, like the crucial 4 food groups that have these components that we've never even had in our bodies, but also the minerals that we've all been needing that we're deficient in.
Awesome. Well, we're excited.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be. I think for some people that will just love pills, like we have Metagenics for them, but someone that wants to go above and beyond and notice like just some people that have like those immediate benefits just from Sandra. I'm sure it's gonna happen with a lot of the other stuff. Like it's just, I think it's gonna be a perfect combination with
I
boho.
like powder over the.
Me too.
The pills. I just get tired of like, okay, and it's just
Yeah.
nice to just put it all in one water and just chug it back. I was drinking water before, and then you were like,
Holly always said, like, I can't believe you're not gay. Like, nothing makes you gag. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? For 10 years. Yeah, I know. 10 years. I've been taking a handful of supplements. And I just throw it all in at once.
That's how I am too.
And like it started off with 2, started with 3, and
now
it's like
50.
yeah. Now it's just like, and I'm like, that's why I don't gag, because I'm like, I trained myself just to freaking open my throat and put it down there. And so now I'm like, I'm so sick and tired of it. I'm so sick and tired of like all these supplements.
So if you do like take multiples of these a day, like how would you go about like taking them? Because I know
I
if
put
it's
them in water.
just all at once.
Or what?
No, I mean, again, like, you know, throughout the day is nice, but like breakfast is breakfast, right? So it's in the morning.
Yeah.
And if you get people feeling good in the morning, and that's usually when people have most time to take care of themselves, then yeah, you kind of shove it all in there, right?
Okay.
But in reality, if people are like, well, I get tired around 2 or 3, say, well, okay, well then do your breakfast shake and like keep a quarter of it or half of it for after lunch. And then they can get their second dose in. And it's not going to stimulate them like too much caffeine, which could throw off their circadian rhythm, put them in more stressful state. Because when you're stressed and you're tired and you take caffeine, it makes you.
Where are they getting caffeine from?
Well, if someone was going.
I was thinking
typical
M&M breakfast or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Gotcha.
no, like most people have caffeine after.
Gotcha. Yeah.